Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome to chapter 9, and this is chapter 9 supplement. It's really a little bit of a feed off of yesterday's lesson, or for my 8th graders Friday's lesson, which was 9.1. I add a little bit of a supplement because I really want you to understand correlations, and today's lesson is extremely short, and I really wish we would have been in class because usually this activity is really fun when we do it in class, and the discussions that happen are really amazing. And it's really funny how kids get into arguments about what is positive, what's negative, and no correlation. The no correlation for the most part are usually the easy ones, but the positive and negative are the ones that kids struggle with a little bit more. So going back off of positive correlations, so remember that when we were discussing positive correlations, both the x and the y increase. So as one is increasing, the other one is also increasing. So positive, both of them are always moving in the same direction, and they're usually either going up or both are going down. And regardless, if both of them are going the same way and it's usually increasing, then it's called a positive correlation. The negative correlation, as one of the data pieces goes up, the other data goes down. So we're talking about your x and y. If the x goes up, the y will go down, or vice versa. If the y goes up, the x will go down. So negative correlation, one goes up, the other one goes down. Positive correlation, both of them go up, or both of them go down. Okay, so no correlation, one has absolutely nothing to do with the other. So really for today's lesson, you are just reading statements. You're going to decide if it's a positive correlation, we're going to choose P. If it's a negative correlation, we're going to choose N. And if it's a no correlation, it's NC for no correlation. Now, I know that I have uploaded it as a quiz, but it's not a quiz grade. The only thing is, since it's, there's no workout for this, honestly, I'm letting the system grade it for us so you can get a quick grade back instead of waiting for me to grade it by hand. So it's multiple choice, P, N, or NC, depending on the scenario. And I really encourage you to do this activity with a friend or a group of friends, whether you do it on the phone, over the phone, go question by question and decide what's the best choice. Okay, so let's go for the first example. So the first example tells us the size of the jar of baby food, okay, and the number of jars a baby will eat. So think about it. The larger the jar, well, they're not this big, but the larger the jar, what's going to happen to the baby? Is he going to eat more jars or less jars? Obviously, the larger the jar, the less number of jars he will eat. So while one is going up, the other one's going down. The larger it is, the less number of jars he will eat. Let's put it the other way around. The smaller the jar, the more jars he will require. So you see that they're going in opposite directions. So in this case, it's a negative correlation, okay? So our answer here is N for negative, okay? Now the next one, the speed of the runner and the number of races she will win. The speed of the runner and the number of races she will win. The faster she runs, the more races she will win. Right? Both of them are going up at the same time. The faster she runs, the more races she will win. So in this case, it's a positive correlation. So our choice would be P. Now I have 3 more scenarios because honestly, this is all what the lesson is. Okay? The next one up here, let me get you to where you can read the whole statement. The size of a person and the number of fingers he has. So the size of a person, honestly, does it matter how many fingers a person's going to have? No. You can be a small person, you have 10 fingers. You can be an extra large person, and you will still have 10 fingers. So in this case, this is a no correlation because one thing has absolutely nothing to do with the other. All right, the temperature outside and the number of snow cones sold. So the hotter the temperature, what happens to snow cone sales? The more snow cones are sold, okay? So the hotter the temperature, the more that you will sell. So in this case, both of them were going up. So our choice for this is a positive correlation. The number of days left of distance learning. This applies to you right now, right? And to me too, it should be distance teaching too. The number of days left of distance learning and your excitement level. So the less days, the higher our excitement level. okay? Or the more days, the lower our excitement level. Notice that they're going in opposite directions regardless of how I choose to read it, right? So in this case, it's going to be what? A negative correlation or a positive correlation? So the more days, the less excitement, right? The less days, the more excitement. So in this case, it's a negative correlation, believe it or not. Yes, your excitement level will be, higher as the less days we have. But remember, if one data set is going down and the other one is up, that means when you graph it, you will see a negative correlation, okay? So anyways, this is the lesson, guys, and you have to test. Now, one of my pieces of advice for you all, do not add more to the statement than there really is, okay? Take the statement at face value. Don't start adding, and I know like yesterday we discussed the one about the chicken, or at least I discussed the one about the chicken. I wish I had you all in class. But yes, as the chicken is growing up, right, it's starting to lay more eggs, but there's going to be a time and age where that chicken, once it starts laying eggs, the older it gets, it's going to start, the decline is going to start going in. As the older it gets, the less eggs it will lay. So don't think, if I just say something like, the age of the chicken and the number of eggs it will lay, don't say, oh, it's a positive because as it's growing, it's going to be laying more eggs. No, you have to think of the overall common sense statement. So the older it is, the less eggs it will lay. So think of the whole cycle. Don't just start putting a whole bunch of conditions on one statement. So when you discuss it with your friend, think of, first ask, the more something, what happens to the other one? Is it more or less? Just like we did this one. This one might be the number of days left for distance learning and your excitement level. You might just think, oh, excitement level, it's going up, 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 right? And that's true. That might seem like a positive trend. But remember, if one of the data pieces goes down and the other one goes up, it's considered a negative correlation. So there you have it. Inshallah, if you have any questions, feel free to come to class, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.